You know how we do it. Westside, coming from the Westside.
YouTube yard was good. Was good. Got the Punisher shirt on. It's your boy, Darth Lopez, man. You see, I have. It's gonna be a struggle for me to call my own self Bam Bam. How about we just get used to me calling myself Darth Lopez? What up, homies? YouTube yard. All right. Everybody's doing the Charlie situation. I was going to do that. I said, you know what, man? They got that. But I will say this just real quick, homies. I'm going to say this. I'm going to say it like in layman's terms. When that demographic, the white folks, right? The right and the left, all the social media shit I be seeing, if, let's put it in hood terminologies. If they start gang banging on each other, meaning doing more of this, it's a problem. It's a problem. Real quick, I was at work. The conversation was in the lunchroom. And there was a guy, he was a Boricua, a lot of Boricuas out here. And he was saying that he don't believe that was a kid that did it. And I said, why not? And it got defensive real quick. And you know, I de-escalated. And I was like, that's what the world has come to. You know, if they start doing more of this, well, we could be in trouble. All right. That aside, your homie comes to you today, lightweight blown, fellas. That's right. Let's recap. 17 years off narcotics. I would have had 17 years off alcohol, but I relapsed during the pandemic. So now I got like a little bit over 3 years, no alcohol. All right, real quick. Now let's do it. Let's have some fun, homies. Let me give you the topography and the demographics. I'm 48 years old. I'm gonna be 49. I grew up on the west side of LA, which you could call it Mid-City. You could call it Mid-Wilshire. Let's go to La Brea. Picture me if you're from this part of LA or anywhere part of LA. I might have to do 2 parts so I get everything in. Okay, you're on the west side. Let's think. Let's go Adams, Jefferson, Washington, Venice, and Pico. La Brea. We go all the way. Is that going like west, southwest? I'm bad when it comes to direction that way. Let's just say we're going to Pico Union. So we're going all the way down. And we end up like on Hoover, which, well, let's just say Alvarado. I think that's like a cutoff. After that, that's gang warfare at that time. That's 18th Street, Drifters, MS, Playboys. There were some MOT taggers literally in Playboys neighborhood, like off of Washington, I believe, which was Playboys. Imagine that time in the 90s if you're from that area. Okay, that the Tigers I'm going to talk about didn't pass that area. They didn't pass that. So they didn't pass Normandy. MOT did. But they were like literally in Playboys, so probably Playboys. So that was it. So, okay. All right. Excuse me. So, all right, one did cross over OFA. On even at the Lucy's. Now, I just mentioned some neighborhoods. You guys read between the lines. Hoover, Alvarado, who's that, right? That's what I'll question. Okay, so, but OFA, that's where they were from. In that area, which if you had beef with them, made it really hard to go into that area because you know who's there. So, but I grew up further west. So, yeah, OFA. Now, I know eventually they transitioned into being a gang, being 13. I believe they're still around. Don't have really much intel on them. That sounded, yeah. So my bad. I said intel. I don't know. So I don't know if I don't want to be disrespectful. I'm going to assume that perhaps they are still out there. I just don't know too many people. They know if they're still around. I had heard about 8 years ago, like before I left California, there might have been a pocket of OFA already 13 somewhere. Just, don't know. All right, let me go second with ATC. ATC, I believe, is still active. ATC was over there. let's go. Off of King Boulevard, that strip in those alleys. So up Normandy, you go up Vermont. So like in between Vermont and Normandy, I believe I was like ATC area. There was alleys. And you know, if you know King Boulevard, it's got like a McDonald's, it's got fast food. It's an interesting area. It's right across the street from USC. You do also have bigger neighborhoods, homies. You got some Crips, you got some 30s, you know, you got other gangs in that area. So ATC was in that little stretch in there. And I gotta put him as one of the first Tagbangers in that area, in that era, which is 91, 92, 93. That's the time frame I'm talking about. Those dudes were, you know, they were deep. They would write. They were strong as far as tagbangers in that area, along with OFA. Now I'm gonna go to the number 3, and I only think this is the top 3. You know, I mean, no offense. Remember, I'm talking about. You know, I just want you guys to feel nostalgia. It's like nostalgia, right? This is Tagbanger nostalgia, right? From somebody who was there and in that era and participated with a lot of shenanigans with everybody I just mentioned, including BSA. Your boy as a tagger started out from BSA. I know all the BSAs. So much so that I'm going to respect and not say no names and not say anything. But I know the time as a tagger, that was like the first crew I got in. Because I lived, again, for a little west on Washington. BSA, all right. Western and Venice. Pizza Hut, the Wendy's, Boys Market. I used to steal G.I. Joes from the Boys Market. Did I say the Pizza Hut across the street? Like across Venice? This was a hot spot, bro. This was a haven. When I used to fuck around and my mom started figuring out, she'd go try to find me there. The shit we put our parents through, huh? Yep. So, when I realized I wanted to go down the path, because I didn't want to gangbang, bro, right? I didn't really want to gangbang, right? I was scared of gangbang. So I was like, oh, this tagging's fun. But I was from BSA. I had a road dog, one of my best friends that grew up later where FMA began. His brother's from FMA, my hood now. My buddy. I can say his name. That fool don't give a fuck. Head out of him. So me and him were both from BSA. So we kicked it on Western and Venice. BSA was active, bro. Again, I'm going, you know, tag banging shit. I mean, these dudes, because I know them, all the main heads, and they're my age. They're my age, 48 or older. Even when I got into that crew, bro, it was like, it was just bro. It was, I mean. It's like a little gang, you know. It was literally, we really didn't go riding. The times that I kicked it, we'd be on Western and Venice, and we'll be at that, what street is that? When you're going west, past Venice, and you make a left on the first street. That's where we kicked it at, all these apartments and shit. That part of Westside, the topography, the way it is, the buildings, and it's really diverse, dude, which is, later on, as I explained, this why it was hard for any crews to become a vital and fully complete the mission like Cam did, right? And we'll get back to it. I believe ATC has done that, I believe, and shout out to them if they did. So BSA, yeah, they do, man. I got jumped 3 times. Let's get real, man. I got beat up by the MWAs in Bancroft. I got jumped trying to take the bus. I had to take the bus on La Brea. So I don't have to take a bus on Santa Monica to get to La Brea and take the bus down La Brea to get to where I live off of Washington. And, you know, I was a tagger, bro. I was going out with this chick. And I don't know. She told me one day, hey, the MWAs and BOKs, we'll get to them. You go to school here. And I don't know, like 3 days later, bro, they called me slipping. Busted my nose and everything. But your homie, I used to write area, like I said, one of my first video, the only area from the west side. You know, I did my best, bro, but I did get my nose busted, bro. You know what I mean? So that's a loss for your boy. So yeah, OFA, ATC, no particular order. OFA, ATC, BSA. I believe BSA might have been the smallest in numbers, but they were riders, bro. I'm telling you, I knew the first dude. I knew the first generation of BSA. That's why I said in one of my videos, intimately familiar with BSA. I wish I could say what they write. I just don't want to disrespect across the line. You know what I mean? But I know them all. The original founding members of BSA, who later became Barrio St. Andrews. Again, it's tough there, bro, because that's in the middle of the City Stones. That's in the middle. That's like Buds, bro, right in that area. City Stones, Black Pea Stones, City Stones off of Pico in that area. And that's Black Pea Stone up the street, and then eventually you go down into where my mom lived off Normandy, Lori Miller Park, bro, which was Westside neighborhood, rolling 20 Bloods. All Bloods on that part of the Westside. BSA had beef with 25th Street. Posse. They're kind of relevant for this time because they were 25th Street Posse, so they weren't a gang. And they were literally in Black Pea Stones. They later became Black Pea Stone, Westside Black Pea Stone, 25th Street. Shout out to them. I got jumped by them. Those dudes had issues, afterwards. That's around the time after that. I don't want to talk. I kind of talked about my hood, but mine's coming around late '93. And my homies that aren't a bunch of my homies that live off of where I described my last video where we lived. These were my homies that right to this day. So we lived in that area, and as you know, this is a generation of the Tagbangers. We already started probably just talking politics and dividing amongst ourselves. Hey, let's start our own crew. Okay, that's how that in this era. So when that happened, I just FMA, and I never, how does that feel? Am I smutted up now because I was from a tagging crew that I got into FMA. Oh shit, helped start it. And just basically say goodbye to BSA, but they were cool with it. I was cool with it. We anyway had the same enemies and tag issues. And I think they used to jokingly say all the FMAs used to be from BSA. It was all good. That was the politics. They quickly they became 13, I would say, right before us. So, there was never issues there. But we did have the same beef. We didn't really have beef with OFA. We had beef with TIK. They are prevalent in this area, but I don't really know now. If there's any TIKs out there, don't get mad at me. But the history I'm talking about, you guys know, respect, homies. That was a little bit later. That if you became a barrio, it would have been after BSA, ATC, FMA. Because OFA again, they were a little bit too far, and it was all 18th Street. Just like where we grew up was 18th Street, bro. So where we're at. So that's okay. ATC, OFA, BSA in no particular order. Did I talk about the MCAs? Now the MCAs were was like a rival direct beef there. Original beef. Politics would say for me in that area in that time, I believe most of them got into Mid-City and the others, just didn't. Just didn't, I don't know, live life, I guess. I don't know. But I know a few of them did. Again, we don't get along with Mid-City. I'm not going to go into that. This is strictly Tiger shit. We did have beef with them. We had multiple altercations, multiple football games, fights, one-on-ones. Might have been some shots fired. And I'll leave it there as far as the crew shit. Because after that, bro, we became 13, We went for the gusto to be a hood. I believe they got into Mid-City, and the ones that did not, I assume they lived their life. So I'm not gonna talk about beef with Mid-City. So MCA, we did have some issues with them. Nothing drastic or carried over with something else. So no issues with ATC. Don't really know. I don't really know. Like I remember Orion. Let me see. I think man, let's do this. I remember Orion from ATC. and lesson from ATC because he lived what I would consider my hood, or was my hood, right? OFAs, I remember really one name, Mono, from OFA. If anybody grew up in this time should see this, or even if you're a tagger and a tagbanger, those are your roots before you got into whatever barrio, man. Tell me where you used to write from in the comments. Tell me, I don't know. You guys would know more than me. If anybody's ever come out like this, in the yard, modern time, a few years ago, pandemic, that straight out said, "Hey, yo, man, my hood was taggers, tag bangers. We're fucking, we're Southsiders, homie." Anybody else? I believe Blue Devil. I watched the altercation between him and the dude up north, and so I fucking I saw what he said, and I was like, damn, he called him a tagger, and I said, homie, I used to write, fool. What do you want me to say? That shit was fun, bro. Hit the fucking just the blocks, you know what I mean? Go tag. Oh, but we had we had battles with LC, B&W, and I don't remember, maybe FOK that was in Culver City. I don't remember. I think we won all of them. We almost lost the M41. B&W won, bro. And when we would write, we would put a C with a circle because this mobbing was done for the battle, right? What else we got? Now, I gotta navigate the political landscape of the Yarda respectfully. So I don't want to fucking say too much, homies. I used to try not to Dunkin' Donuts. Their donuts are trash, homies. There's no donuts like there is in LA that the Asian population make. Those donuts ain't nothing compares to that donuts over here, bro. Right. Okay. I'm gonna stop it here and then come back and say goodbye and go see what I missed on if I want to add. It could be a long ass video. But I've noticed in the yard, you guys watch 20-minute, fucking, sometimes 30-minute videos.